back-to-back Vermont Milk Bowl winner at Thunder Road up in Barrie, Vermont. We're joined by Marcel Gravel. Marcel, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No, really appreciate it. Always love to spotlight the other tracks around, and of course the Milk Bowl is a big one. And not only did you get one last year, but you got one again this year, so we'll talk about it. But jump right into things, and first question we always like to ask is, how'd you catch the racing bug?
Yeah, so I grew up in a racing family. My uncle, actually, I think might have been the first one of us that raced, and then my dad, was hanging around him, helping him out, and he started to race, and then I came along and slowed my dad's racing down a little bit, and I was just around the racetrack since I was like 4 or 5 years old and just grew up in it and knew it was something I wanted to do, and here we are 26 years later, and we're still doing it.
So obviously the Milk Bowl's a big one, but do you primarily race with the Actor up in the Vermont area, or what tracks are you tending to go to week?
Yeah, so we race for the King of the Road weekly at Thunder Road. So I mainly race weekly at Thunder Road. We probably hit like 2 or 3 tour races outside of Thunder Road a year. But mainly it's just the weekly stuff. I like to go to Oxford, and a couple years I hit Seekonk and some random tracks like that. But mainly it's just the Thunder Road stuff for us.
Talk about the unique parts about Thunder Road and how I feel like a lot of local short tracks don't have nearly as much banking as that place. What makes Thunder Road special to you?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, like you said, it's very high banked. It was already a pretty tight racetrack, and then Chris and Pat Malone, the owners, put a wall all the way around it, and that really changed how it raced, just because there's nowhere to hide anymore. So it made the racing pretty intense. I would say most people know it for, like, the Widowmaker is what they call the turn 4 wall, because the way the track is shaped, literally coming off the corner, I mean, we're, like, to the floor, looking straight at it, and, like, you just kind of hope you make it. And it definitely produces some pretty exciting racing, and Chris and them have worked really hard to make it race side by side and making multiple grooves and stuff. So I would say probably the uniqueness of the wall all the way around the place is pretty wild.
So last year you ended up winning the Milk Bowl. Normally, if I'm not mistaken, you're in the 86 car. This year you ended up doing a throwback scheme. Talk to us a little bit about the throwback scheme for the Milk Bowl a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you're right. Normally we run the 86. That's been my number since I started racing. I don't think I've ever raced another race. Maybe one other one I raced for a guy one time in a different number, but the 75 came from Pete Fecto. He was one of my first sponsors. He's a local guy to me, and he's my grandfather's childhood best friend. And he owned a garage, and he sponsored my go-karts, and he sponsored my 4-cylinders, my late models, and he's just supported me the whole way through. And it was really important to me to do a throwback to him when I decided to do another one. And my car was white this year, so it was about the perfect time to go after the green and white 75.
Marcel, I've actually gone up and watched the Milk Bowl a couple of times, but some of our listeners aren't familiar with the format of that race, and I know it's a little different. So explain that format to us.
Yeah, so traditionally at Thunder Road and on the ACT Tour, we do plus-minus qualifying systems. So you go through tech in the morning and you draw. And if you draw, deep in a heat race and you got a good car, it's going to be better, So you draw 5th and you win, you get a +4. High plus starts on the pole usually, and that's how it goes for every race. But the Milk Bowl, we actually do single car time trials, like a lot of racetracks I feel like down south do. And that kind of sets the front row. So the fastest 2 guys are locked into the show on their time. Then they do they call them the triple 50 qualifiers, where they run a 50-lap qualifying race, which is pretty unheard of. And if you're on the front row, you only have to run half of that. So we run half of it, and then obviously everybody else has to run the full 50. They normally qualify about 8 cars, and then 8 cars from each, and then it goes straight to the hooligan race and the B feature. No consolation, anything like that, and then the field's set. We do the 3 50-lap segments, and I won the first segment, so they do almost a full field invert. Normally they'll tell us, before how much they're going to invert. So they inverted 26 on Sunday, so we restart the second segment 26. We came up through, missed that big wreck. We won the second segment, so then we had to do the same thing, except for instead of it being 26th, I think it was about 16th maybe, because that wreck was pretty massive. So if you win, you have to go to the tail, and if you finish second, the next closest guy, so on and so forth, all the way through the field. It is pretty unique, and low score wins. So we had 5, 2 wins, and a third, so 5 overall, and that was that.
So you just mentioned that big wreck, which, of course, anybody who's a local racing fan saw that wreck on the social media channels, whichever channel they picked it up on. Talk to us about avoiding that wreck and the calamity that ensued there.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but the second segment of the Melt Bowl is normally hectic, so we were pretty prepared. Me and my dad, who's my crew chief, my spotter, we were talking about it beforehand, and we knew, or we didn't know, obviously, because you never know, but we just suspected there was going to be some wild stuff just because there always is, and thankfully we were on the ball, and Dad got me through there and through the grass and out the other side, and me and Jason, the guy that I was racing for the win with, and Caden Fisher, we all kind of snuck by there, but man, not very many people behind it did. So we're just fortunate to have an escape route, and starting last, it was easy to not get run over from behind. So that was about the only perk of it right then.
Has the Milk Bowl always had that funky format? And if so, I would love to hear your opinions, if you would prefer just a straight-up race, or you kind of like how they do the inverts and they do the segments.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's always been like that, and no, I wouldn't change a thing about the format. I love it. It produces, exciting racing, because when you win that first segment or you finish 5th in the next one, I mean, it's just, no riding around. Like, we race for points, and we kind of do the same sort of thing where it's like all the high handicap guys, we all start in the back, and like we're all playing the points game, where we play it safe, and we might not take a risk that we would normally take. And I don't want to say that it results in boring racing, but it definitely can. And the Melt Bowl, it's like, it doesn't matter if you think the lane's going to go or not. If it's a 50-50, you're pulling out. You pull the outside, you take that chance, you get a couple, you get back in. It leads to a lot of passing and a lot of dramatic, results. And no, I wouldn't change anything about it, except for if I'm leading going into the third segment, I'd like it to be 2 laps. That's about the only thing I would change.
So, obviously, your name is already on one of the rocks up there at Thunder Road from last year in 2024, winning it. Talk to us about maybe some of the similarities or some of the differences from both of these wins now going back-to-back in 2024 and 2025.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year's win was, great because it was my first one and everything, and it was a little bit of a higher score. But like we had a really good car. We were really good on Sunday. I would say that the difference with this one and that one is just we were definitely probably the best car from the time that we all started practice till Sunday when the race ended. I mean, we wanted to win everything. If we went on the track, we wanted to win. I mean, practice, time trial, our heat race, 50/50s, it didn't matter. We were working on it really hard. My dad and me really wanted to really set the tone for the weekend, and thankfully we did. I mean, we had just a stellar piece all weekend. He had to hardly touch it. He just brought such a good piece. And I would say this one was more like, of a statement win. Like, I don't think anybody had to question who was going to be going for it at the end. And to come through, even with the wreck, it factored in, and have 2 points going into the final segment. It just kind of matched the tone of the whole weekend with us getting the pole and being so fast in all the practices. And like the competition at Thunder Road is just so stiff that like you rarely have one of those days where you're just the best car. And it was cool to have one of those days on Sunday.
Talk about your regular season up there at Thunder Road this year. Did you guys meet your goals and accomplishments, or what's the big plans for next year up there?
Yeah, I would say that we didn't meet our goal. I mean, at this point, this is my 10th year points racing at Thunder Road, and the goal has been, for the last 5 years, we've been legitimate King of the Road, championship contenders. And this year, we just weren't good enough in late July. There was a few races where we just struggled with the handle of the car. There was a couple of races where I made poor decisions, and it put us in a little bit of a hole. And then once we kind of started getting rolling again, we were just too much of a hole to Jason and Chris Pelkey. Chris Pelkey is like the king of consistency at Thunder Road. He's just always around, and Corliss is just on another planet pretty much all the time right now. So it was tough this season to hang with those guys. We did the best that we could, but no, we definitely didn't reach our goal. Our goal is eventually to go into that last Thursday night of the year, hopefully having put everyone else to bed with a couple mathematical chances and win the title one of these times.
How many Milk Bowl wins would it take to make up if you weren't to get that championship?
We're good. I'm good now.
So
yeah, I would say that I'm good. I mean, I really want to win it, but I didn't think that I would ever win one Milk Bowl. So the fact now that we've won two as a group, I could never go to Thunder Road again, and I'd be all right. Obviously I want to go and I want to keep winning and everything, but I could pretty well ride off into the sunset off of this, I think, and I could live just fine.
So we had Stephen Donahue on a couple of years ago after his Milk Bowl win.
I'm sorry that you had to tolerate him.
And probably one of the most important questions we asked him that we're going to ask you. You've done it twice now. What's it like kissing a cow?
It's in that setting, it's fantastic. If you see me next to the road doing it, then we're going to have a problem.
So what do you got planned for 2020?
I would say it's not as gross as you'd think. It's gross, but once you just got to close your eyes, and just pretend really good.
Imagine it's somebody else. Perfect.
And
imagine it's somebody else.
So obviously you drink milk too after the win. Do they let you pick what percentage it is, or do they just give it to you?
No, they just give it to you, and in that moment, I think you'd drink just about any milk they put in front of you. It could have been oat milk, and I probably would have hit it.
Is it store-bought milk, or is it direct from the cow? That's what I want to know.
It better be store-bought. I can kiss a cow, but I don't know if I can drink it out of the other.
Hey, what do you got planned for 2026?
2026 is just a lot of the same. We're going to go for the King of the Road again. The last couple of years, I have two Port City race cars, and the last couple of years, one of them has been converted to a pass car, and we've been trying to make the Oxford 250, and we're just too outgunned, so we just haven't been able to pull it off. So we're going to pull out of that sort of program and get my other car switched back over and ready to go. And we're going to do just some of the bigger money races. I mean, Chris and Scott Tapley, they all do a great job with ACT, and we want to be more involved in some of the tour races. And I raced in Canada this year for a team, and I want to go back to the Bacon Bowl and stuff like that. So we'll probably do Thunder Road for the championship, and then we'll try to hit some of the big ones at White Mountain, like the White Mountain 250 and both Oxford races probably. And then other than that, just focus on going for the championship and spread some tour races in when we can. And I like to do it with my group. So pretty much if my whole group can't go, we don't go. And it's a big team effort. So whatever we can pull off with everybody, that's what we're going to do.
And the most important question, folks, you want to thank sponsors that get you to the track week in and week out.
Yeah, I got to thank Pete's Equipment Sales and Rentals. They're my primary. They've been with me for a long time, and they take really good care of me. And Jason and Kim, his wife, and all the guys that work there, they really helped level our program up. And I got to thank Coyote Tractor, Nathan Brown Building and Remodeling, The Village Diner, Clausen's Crane Service, Green Mountain Acres Property Maintenance, Fecto Homes. I know I'm forgetting some, but Paul Spirit Realtors, that's where my mom actually works, so I better not forget that one. And just anybody that helps me out and all my team, I'm sure some of them are tuning in to your guys' link, and hopefully they all know that I really appreciate their help, and they give me a lot of time during the summer, and obviously my family and my parents, my wife, and, everybody that pulls for us. It's a big team effort, and we're really happy with how things are going.
Back-to-back Vermont Milk Bowl winner up at Thunder Road 2024-2025. Marcel Gravel joining us here tonight on Myles on Motorsports, presented by Chuck Renato Parts. Our In the Turn interview here, sponsored by Modern Auto Body tonight. Marcel, always a pleasure to talk to you, and hope to see you at the racetrack soon.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me.